Okay, so we've looked at solving equations with rational numbers, which I know is just mind-blowing. So now we're kind of taking it to the next level and solving with the distributive property. But honestly, I find solving with the distributive property easier because it's something that you have actually done before. So important thing about the distributive property is that when you distribute, you do need to multiply the number on the outside of the parentheses to everything inside of the parentheses. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see better. But if we just jump into an example, I have 3 parentheses x minus 5 plus 1 equals 2 plus x. So what it means to use the distributive property is that wherever you see a parentheses and a number on the outside, you're going to multiply that number into the parentheses. And we have done this before when we were doing point slope form. We even did this actually when we were talking about doing like the mega distributive property to eliminate rational numbers. So you know how to do this. We're just formally now doing it in a multi-step equation. So doing my math rainbows, multiply 3 to x, 3 to negative 5. Let's see what we come up with. Well, for this first one, I'm gonna write out every step. So when I multiply 3 in, I get 3 times x minus 3 times 5. And again, it's minus because there's a minus sign right there. Plus 1 equals 2 plus x. Oops. Okay, nothing changed on the right. All I did was multiply that 3 into the parentheses. And now that I've multiplied the 3, I got to combine my like terms. So I'm going to have 3x minus 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 equals 2 plus x. All right, and at this point, now I have some terms I can combine. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky because you got to kind of pay attention. Well, negative 15 and 1 are both numbers that are on the left. And so I'm going to go ahead and combine those so I have a smaller equation to work with for my next step. So when I combine them, I'm going to have 3x, and then negative 15 plus 1 is negative 14. So 3x minus 14 equals 2 plus x. Notice that I still haven't done anything with the right side of that equation yet. But now I get to get a little funky. So now this is where, remember, I want my letters on the left, and my numbers on the right. So looking here, I have the variable 3x. The negative 14 is a constant that I don't want. So I'm going to go ahead and add 14 to both sides. And remember, I'm adding it to the 2. Some of you guys are really good about adding it over, but you're not intentional about what you're adding it to, so which causes sometimes some mistakes. So the 14s cancel, they're the same. After I add, I get 3x equals 2 plus 14 is 16 plus x. All right, so I'm looking good. I have my variables on the left. I just need numbers on the right, and I still have a variable I need to eliminate. So I'm going to subtract x, because it's the opposite of positive x. The inverse operation, actually, is what they call it. Kids call it. All right, so now my x's are going to cancel. And I'm going to be left with 3x minus 1x is 2x equals 16. So now we're down to a point that's pretty easy to solve. I'm just going to divide by 2. So then my final solution is x equals 8, because 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay, so nothing too insane. We're going to do another example where we're looking at multiplying a negative into the parentheses. So let's check out example B. And this thing, same time, same idea. I'm going to do my math rainbows. I'm just multiplying a negative 4 to k and negative 4 to 1. So this time I'm not going to write out this first step. I'm actually going to go straight down to what it is multiplied, because I can do multiplication in my head. And I know some of you, sometimes actually the more steps we have, the more confusing it gets. 5 minus 7k equals negative 4k minus 4, because 4 times 1 is 4, minus 3. So now that I have my equations, again, got to combine like terms. So negative 4 minus 3 are like terms. So let's go ahead and combine those. I still have 5 minus 7k equals now negative 4k, and the negative 4 minus 3 is 7. So minus 7. Okay, now this is a point where I can start solving for k. So remember what my numbers, letters on the right, left, numbers on the right. So I have a negative 7k here. That's okay. The 5's got to go, though. We don't want it. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. I'm subtracting 5 from the negative 7. Be very careful when you're doing negative numbers. You guys know how to do them, but we still make little mistakes sometimes, which can, when you're working in a multi-step equation, can really affect your outcome. So just make sure you're being very careful and double checking your work. So negative 7k is left after I subtract the 5, and then I still have minus 4k on the right, but negative 7 minus 5 is negative 12. All right, now I'm going to get rid of the 4k because I want all my k's on the left side. So I'm going to add 4k because it's negative. All right, so that cancels. And when I multiply, I'm now going to be left with 3k, or negative 3k, sorry, equals negative 12. And then last step is that division that we always do. So then when I divide, I'm going to have negative 12 divided by negative 3, which is 4. So k equals 4. That's the solution. So really, it's the same stuff we've been doing. It's just we have this part in here where we got to combine some like terms, but it's just adding and subtracting numbers, and then you solve as usual. Of course, it's not fun unless we do one with a fraction. So let's go ahead and do a fraction problem. And this one also, we got 2 distributive properties that we're looking at. So let's just jump into it, right? YOLO. So let's multiply 3/4 to k, x, and 3/4 to negative 13, and then negative 2 to 9, and to x. So with a fraction one, I am going to break that one down just because I know fractions are kind of still, we're still struggling with that a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. So when I do the fraction, I'm going to have 3 times x, or actually here, let's do it like this way. 3 times x over 4, right? And then minus 3 times 13 over 4. That's going to equal, so this is just kind of like thinking about when we were eliminating the base of a fraction. This is the same thing. We're just multiplying the numerator to the whole number and then dividing by 4, right? That means we're multiplying by 3, dividing by 4. That's literally what that means. Okay, so then on the next hand, this one I'm not going to break out, but negative 2 times 9 is negative 18, and then negative 2 times x is negative 2x. All right, so let's go ahead and combine these or simplify the left. So I have 3x over 4 minus 3 times 13 is 39 over 4 equals negative 18 minus 2x. So this is where we're going to combine that skill that we developed of eliminating the base. Remember, we eliminate the base by using like a mega distributive property. So we're going to multiply by the denominator. And if you look, the least count multiple, but these happen to have the same denominator, which is 4. So now I'm going to take it to the next level and do a mega distributive property of multiplying by 4. And I'm just going to make a note of that so you guys don't forget. Multiply. There we go.
It's missing something.
I know, we got to fix it. All right, so then now that's that mega distributive property that we were talking about. So let's go ahead and do that. 4 goes to 3/4 to 39, negative 18, and negative 2. So remember, I have to do it to everything, not just to the left-hand side. So when I do that, this is going to be a big problem. I want to do that. I'm going to do it in pink so you show where that happened. I'm going to have 4 times 3x. 4 times 3x over 4 minus 4 times 39 over 4 equals negative 18 times 4 minus 2 times 4. All right, so that's what happens when I multiply. So it looks insane, but really this is just one step at a time. Let's just take it one step at a time. So 4 times 3 is 12. But remember, actually, let's back it up. Hold up. Remember, if I have the same denominator and I can just cancel those out. So that actually makes it even easier, right? So now going back to my equation, those 4's cancel. So I have 3x minus 39. And then 18 times 4 is going to be negative 72. And then negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. So now I have an equation that I can work with. It's a little bit easier. So just like last time, gotta combine like terms. So I'm gonna start by getting rid of this 39 because I only want variables on the left. So let's add 39 to both sides. All right, when I add 39, it cancels over here. And I'm going to be left with 3x equals negative 72 plus 39. It's the same thing as 39 minus 72, which is 33, negative 33. So negative 33 and then minus 8x. I'm going to want to eliminate this bad boy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 8x to both sides. All right, when I add 8x to both sides, it cancels on the right. And 8x plus 3x is 11x. So I'm going to have 11x equals negative 33. And then last step, just divide. Well, negative 33 divided by 11 is 3, negative 3. So x is going to equal negative 3. And that is our solution. So we did a lot of work today. We practiced with the distributive property. We practiced with the distributive property and fractions. And we just practiced with distributive property on both sides. So hopefully you feel confident and are ready to tackle those problems today.